Okay guys, so we ended the last tutorial with our man, and he is on the beach looking all old and but lovely, and he is staring longingly to the ocean. Now that obviously sets me up really nicely for my next paragraph, because my next paragraph is going to be my flashback. So it's a really great way to create cohesion across my paragraphs, is to build on this idea of him staring longingly into the ocean. So as I said, I had an idea in my mind that maybe that's because his wife's ashes had been scattered, but I don't want to say that yet because I don't want to give away that she's died, because I want to be happy. So I'm going to start my flashback with him remembering when he was young and they used to walk this beach together, and you know how much he loved his wife, etc., etc. So really, within this flashback paragraph, we want to do three things. We want to signpost a temporal shift. Temporal just means time. We want our reader to know we're going back in time. We don't want them to just suddenly get really confused of why we're suddenly in the past. We want it to be a really positive paragraph. We want to capture the beauty of the memory. We want to build some descriptive detail. So I don't have the sentence parameters, the sentence prompts for this one, because obviously build that independence. But we've got three clear things we want to achieve. So obviously I ended my paragraph with him looking out to sea. So I'm going to start my next paragraph with him having the memory. So I'm going to start with as again. So as he watched the relentless waves pounding the shore, he remembered. And obviously, as soon as I use that verb remembered, it does two things. Number one, it takes me back in time, and it signals to the reader we're going back in time, but it also takes me inside the character's head. It's a verb that shows that it's about what's going on in the head rather than in the physical world. So as he watched the relentless waves pounding the shore, he remembered the hundreds of walks along this beach he had shared with his wife. Okay, so just a really simple introduction to the memory. Okay, so then I just need to build detail. So maybe they bought their first house together. They bought their first home together shortly after getting married. A small place perched precariously upon the cliff top, overlooking the beach. So building all this detail, they bought their first home together shortly after getting married. A small place perched precariously upon the cliff top overlooking the beach. Now, if you notice these two sentences, they're actually really closely related, aren't they? They're very similar sentences. This one is about the home they bought, and then this one adds detail. So this is actually a really good place to have a semicolon instead of a full stop. So all I need to do is get rid of the full stop, change it to a semicolon, and then I can change the capital A to a lowercase a. And all that semicolon is doing here is showing that both sentences make complete sense as individual grammatical units, but because they're both closely related, they're about the house, they can be linked using a semicolon. And in an exam context, it's another way to score marks. So as he watched the relentless waves pounding the shore, he remembered the hundreds of walks along this beach he had shared with his wife. They bought their first home together shortly after getting married, a small place perched precariously upon the cliff top overlooking the beach. It hadn't been much, but to them, it was like a castle. Every day, they would make their way along the rugged cliff path and walk for hours across the sands. As he watched the relentless waves pounding the shore, he remembered the hundreds of walks along this beach he had shared with his wife. They bought their first home together shortly after getting married, a small place perched precariously upon the cliff top overlooking the beach. It hadn't been much, but to them it was like a castle. Every day they would make their way along the rugged cliff path and walk for hours across the sands. Sometimes they fought their way through gales and rain. On other days, they were washed in glorious sunshine. But regardless of the weather, they felt entirely happy. Okay, so I'm sure you guys do that, sort of thinking as I go, yeah. But try to build up the picture. A sense that life changeable wasn't very challenging. I'm trying to kind of symbolise here. Sometimes they thought their ways out rain, and other days they watched the sunshine. So I'm just trying to use that to symbolise that marriage wasn't always easy. It had its ups and downs. So trying to be a little bit kind of clever with the weather. So sadly, happy stuff is now over. The happy now needs shit. So as I shift into paragraph 4, I'm going to change the mood. And I'm going to shift it from this season of happiness and joy, memory that life was hard, but it was love, to a moment change. And I always start my paragraph with the words, but life had been cruel. And that's the opportunity to say what happened. So I'm going to keep it quite broad here. I'm going to be very specific. And she had been taken too early. I was correct that. She had been taken too early. So that signals something shift movement. This love and happiness by creating suddenly change, which is gone. After her diagnosis, and again, I'm not going to be specific about what she had. Her diagnosis tells the reader really the illness. The reader can infer that it was something horrible. She started to fade away. There's a little bit of a story on Ready about where life is full of colour. What was left more than left shades of grey. And I always love that image, how something taking a life in love can make the world darker. So I'm going to magnify that idea. She started to fade away. A life that had been full of colour was replaced by shades of grey. I also love the image of being a smiling go-to one story ready. Again, I love that idea that something can still be alive, but become a go-to because they can remove from you. So I think I'll feel that as well. I like that idea. I can say she became a silent ghost, and eventually she was taken. So it's not perfect crap that we're a bit more, but we've got the idea that we have been vague, but we're relying on our reader's ability to do that, because that makes stories enjoyable and not hold out everything. But life being cruel is taken early. After that diagnosis, she started to fade away. A life in a full of colour, not colourful, that can make sense. A life in a full of colour was replaced by shades of grey. She became a smiling ghost and eventually taken from him. I'm trying to show you guys important to proofreading. I haven't read over my paragraph, and I wouldn't have noticed I made a really little error. And I love mark lately. So put some reading in your paragraph, improve my writing. It's a great technique. So now then, we can go to our final paragraph. Now, as I said, getting our final paragraph needs one sentence, and it goes back to the beginning. So at the beginning, you used the sky way, and I edited paragraph 1 with this image of the sun starting to peek through, and that image I'm going to pick on again. I said that there was only feeble rain light. Now I'm going to create something a bit positive here, because I want to be believed. So I'm going to say, the clouds. I'm just start with another idea. The clouds continued to disperse, and the sunlight started to fill the sky. The clouds his first sunlight guide as he continued his now lonely walk along the sand. I just like this sunlight was a little bit of hope. Yes, low, but it's got a little bit of hope as sunlight starts to fill the sky. Maybe his growth process of morning and come to an end. So that's my approach to story writing, as I say. I've got a core of a story. I've got a character in my mind. I when I do exam, I don't think how can I write entire story from scratch. I think how can I take my story concept and adapt it. Now in my mind, when I look at this task, this is why this is a woman we loved. So when I do my flashback section, maybe I use more detail about her. He can remember how her curly hair used to fall along her face when she laughed. He can remember how much she used to love nature, whatever. But I need to make sure that my writing actually fits my task. So what I'm going to do now is work that again, pause it at various points to help myself. I'll probably remember a lot of it from lessons. Go to the PowerPoint I have on PDF doc I've shared with my homework. There's loads about 20 question 5 tasks. Do some. Practice using my model, practice doing it your own way, share it with your teacher, see if they give you advice on how to make it better. And the more practice you have, the better, really. Yours might become more complex than mine. I'm quickly quite straightforward. This is an online tutorial. And you can increase the sophistication of yours as you work with your teacher. I really hope in the future, guys, please email questions and concerns. And as I say, pick a task from the PDF from homework, do it, send it to your teacher. Aim to write 5 sentences per paragraph, with the exception of paragraph 5, which could be just one sentence. Thanks, guys.